Simon from simonwood.com. I've got 15 Malbecs. Is that too many? Well, who can tell? The brief that I've given the people who've sent these in is the lighter face of Argentine Malbec. Because I don't know about you, but I've found that some of the more ambitious cuvées, let's call them that have appeared from Argentina in the last few years, have been a little bit too top-heavy. It's almost like they've been trying to appeal to what I call the silicon implant school of wine appreciation, where the people who sort of like want steaks where you can't see the plate, and they want a magnum of something with a big cigar. And let's see if we have some lighter stuff here. 8 wines in this lot. I've got 8 from 2010, and then some 9s and 8s, but I'll get those in another video. I've got to get through 8 in this one though. Without any further ado, Santa Julia. I've got them arranged, yes, these are all 2010, but I've got them arranged in alcohol order. So they start here at 13%, pretty heavy anyway, end up at 14.5%, but at least they're not ending up at 16%, which some Malbecs can be. So anyway, so Santa Julia from Zuccardi, and yeah, 13%, give it a whirl. Well, it smells reasonable. It's got this plush, rounded fruit. It doesn't feel like it's going to be too ripe. There's a bit of plumminess. There's a bit of cherries in there, blackberries. If I have 2 problems with it, one of them is there's a slight edge of volatility. The other one, as I get this tinge of vanilla, as if the wine has been oaked, but maybe not aged in a barrel. So they may have aged the wine in a tank with some bits of wood in there just to give it a woody character, and the vanilla edge has oozed out. But it's okay wine, it's touch medicinal, this nice plummy berry, not the sort of thing I want to cross the street to get my hands on, but certainly one that I'd have a second glass of, but probably not a third. Next one, actually the next 2, from the Argento Wine Company, which is an offshoot of Catena, in conjunction with the UK importers Bibendum. I think, is it still that? Anyway, if it's not, I'll get shot by them. But this is Argento Selección Malbec. Not sure what the difference is between this and the one after. Maybe it's the same wine under different labels for different companies. Who can tell? Well, this one smells fresher and punchier. There are 2 things, yes, the fresher fruit, but also more of a slightly raw oak impact. I don't know, again, whether this has been oaked or oak aged, but the fruit flavours are a bit more on that bright black cherry, black currants, blackberries, but then this slightly raw wood character. It's got a bit more substance and body to it than the other than Santa Julia, and I prefer it. I just wish that they hadn't put that wood in, or wherever it's come from. Now I'll find out it's unoaked, but it's just adding this slightly raw bitterness at the back, but the fruit is really nice and juicy and friendly, and yes, it sort of says, bring me a steak. Let's see what its stablemate Artisano de Argento Malbec 2010. Same alcohol level, don't know about the vineyards, they both just say Mendoza on, but since 70% of Argentina's wine comes from Mendoza, that's not really saying all that much. But it does smell different. This one, it's weird, it's 2010, but it feels like it's a more mellow wine. In terms of the wood aging, it feels like it's had proper barrel aging. There's a soft sheen, almost like what I call the Rioja Gran Reserva style of slightly mellow, ever so slightly furniture polish or varnishy. Yes, this layer of extra flavour. Fruit flavours have been calmed down a bit. They're not as fresh and punchy as in the one before, but they feel a bit more grown up. Yeah, interesting difference in styles between those 2. I prefer the Artisano, but I know just as many people who would prefer I like the mellow one. Some people like the young gutsy one. Horses for courses. And so on. Wine number 4 from Bodegas Renacer. This is a Punto Final. Something the last kick of a football match? No, or the last bridge. I don't know what it means. But anyway, again, 2010. Does it have the region on here? No. Okay. Now this feels again on that gentle side. This is what I was looking for in these wines. The one before had a bit of it, but this one's got it as well. It's got a more open, fragrant edge rather than just like try and whack you around the head with fruit. This has got this. So there's some spice in there. There's some aromas going on there. It's not all about here am I'm big and fruity. There are layers. It's got hidden depths. One of those ones that you talk to it for half an hour and suddenly you just find out that used to be the world skydiving champion or something like that. Where did that come from? Strange thing is, when you come to taste it, it's actually fuller body than I was expecting, and I didn't really smell too much oak character coming through. But what I'm left with is a slight vanilla chocolatey edge. But these fruit flavours are just on the right side of kirsch, so they've not gone into the over-the-top jammy cherry flavour, but they've got this very ripe, but just never on that sous maturité. It doesn't feel like they're turning to jam. So punchy. But the finish I'm left with, it brings it all together. Sometimes finishes just end up being sweet and flabby. This one, it's got poise and bounce to the finish, and I like it. I like this a lot. Next one, we are in Finca Fleischmann. That one had some European influence. The winemaker there, a guy called Alberto Antonini. So that's the Italian. He used to make wines at Antinori, and now he's got places all over the world. He's got a place in Chianti, but he works quite a lot in Argentina. Now the next one, Finca Fleischmann, which is owned, I think, by Sograp, the Portuguese guys. Reserve Malbec. Wasn't quite sure where to put this because I look at this bottle and I think these are sample labels because there isn't an alcohol level on here. So I thought, just was it in the middle. But the fruit from here, Finca Fleischmann about 10 years ago, they were in this place called Barrancas, which is on the hotter side for Mendoza. In more recent years, they've been getting fruit from higher up, cooler places like Tupungato. So I think this is half this place Barrancas and half Tupungato. And this is another wine that smells grown up. It feels like, again, yes, there's been quite big fruit, but they've given it good élevage, so they've brought it up well in the cellars, and so there is this softness about it. There's this bouncy fruit that's there. The berries are plums, damsons, dark cherries, but then on top of it there's this slightly smoky sheen as well from the oak, but it's not over the top. All it seems to be doing is just reining in the fruit again. Just opened it, so I imagine that will actually subside and the fruit will come more to the fore. But it's holding it, the oak's really holding it nicely together now, and it feels like it's going to be fresh but polished and full of flavour, but still with almost a refreshing edge. It does have this sweet core. It's got this sweet red fruit core. Like raspberries and very, very ripe plums, and then the red berries as well, and the blackberries, and this cherry edge. But again, the cherries going on the red cherry as well as the black cherry. I'd be interested to almost like put together a blend of this and see how much of that riper red edge is from the Barrancas and how much of the sort of finer, darker, more steamy edge is from Tupungato, or maybe it's the other way around. Hey, one day, when I'm a master blender, we'll get around to doing it. But I do like that. Okay, next one. Again, more European influence here. This is the Septima Malbec, and Septima is owned by Carver giant Codorniu, and we're up to 14% alcohol here. Is it fresh? Actually, this one just arrived by itself. I didn't specifically ask for it for these lighter styles, but I thought, hey, it's here. Give it a whiz. The slightly meaty, stinky edge here. It feels like a wine that needs to be better half an hour from now. There's just this, what people call a bit of bottle stink. There's a slightly sulphury, this sulphury, sweaty meatiness that it will blow off, and maybe if I keep swirling, it'll disappear. Well, I just find it a bit too chunky and clunky. It doesn't feel like there's a harmony between the way the wines, between the fruit flavours and the wood aging, and there's this sulphury edge flitting in and out. One of those wines, though, that it may prove me wrong, and I'll try it again in another couple of hours. It feels like all the elements were there, but at the moment they're just hanging together slightly uneasily. It's growing on me. that sort of sulphury meatiness is coming into the wine. The fruit's coming more to the fore, and the oak is calming down. Some wines you just get straight away. Some wines they confuse you, and you come back to them and go, do I like it, do I not? Still not sure though. Let's see whether I like the next one. Acheval Ferrer, one of the stars of Argentinian wine. This is their basic bog standard entry-level Malbec, 2010, and I think this is the last one at 14% alcohol. Now this is the daddy, this is the big grown-up one. What I mean by that is the ones before have been nice, they've been jolly, they've been some nice fragrance in there, nice use of oak. This one though, the soil character is just so strong. There's the violets, and there's the earthy, that earthy Parma violet character, red fruits, dark fruits, and it's just a wealth. One of those wines that you can just sit and sniff, and it smells grown up, it smells intense, but it's going to have this, there's a freshness about it as well, a life and a bounce. Makes me want to not spit it out, but I've got another few Malbecs to do, so maybe I won't spit it out later. And that's serious, but it's also seriously good. What I love about it is it's got this core of dense, dark fruit, but also with some red berries flitting in and out. But then holding it all together, there's this terroir edge, there's the earthiness, there's the sense of the soil. I think it's probably the lowest yield of anything here, so it's going to be the most concentrated wine. But rather than it being concentrated and big, rich and jammy, it's big, but there's this spine to it. There's this spine of there's some tannin there, but it's this terroir character, this earthiness that's just keeping going all the way through, and so your mouth is left with this juiciness, but dry and juicy, if that makes sense. Does to me, as does the wine. Pretty terrific. Hard act to follow, but let's see if whether Finca La Florencia from Familia Casone can do it. 2010 vintage, and this weighs in at 14.5% alcohol. From the Lucan de Cujo region. Well, you saw me just twist the screw cap, and in the way that this probably needs the septimen needs quite a while to calm down and come out of its shell. Here I'm getting that little bit of bottle stink. There's I smell that there's ripeness, but again reined in ripeness. There's the oakiness that's adding this toasty sheen, and then there's the fruit behind, classic dark plummy berry, bit of cherry too. But there's something about it that makes me think, give it a couple of hours, pour it out and come back to it, and should be showing even more expressively. Can't do that in the course of this video, so I'm just going to give it several swirls and then taste it. It's quite dense. There's this meatiness to it, that toastiness of the oak. It's got what I call the blue ribboned or taxi biscuit oak, that chocolate wafer character. And I don't mind it, but I think coming after the Acheval Ferrer, it looks a little bit, it doesn't look as grown up. It's a decent wine, certainly wouldn't complain about having a bottle of that in Masala, but it's just on that simple side. I mean, in terms of the ones I like here for lightness of touch, I'd say the Renaissance and the Acheval Ferrer. And Acheval Ferrer is, when I say lightness with it, it's a strange thing because it's the most concentrated. What I mean by lightness is it's got genuine gluggability. There's this heart about it, and it's on that medium-bodied, full-flavoured rather than full-bodied, medium-flavoured. Lots going on in both of those wines. And but in terms of a lineup of 8, I have a feeling that I would prefer this lineup of 8 to the super cuvées from some more highly pointed stars. Hey, I'll come back in a while with the 2009s and 2008s, but for the moment, see ya.